Welcome to yet another episode of the Dreamweaver TV. I'm Victor and I help ambitious people like you to get more freedom into your life by becoming a self-employed freelancer online. In this episode, I will show you how to get more time by stop selling it. So in this episode of the Dreamweaver TV, I want to talk about how to get more time by stop selling it. You see, in one of my first jobs online, one of the first freelancer jobs I got, I was very excited to start working because it was the first time I got to do something that I considered fun on the laptop from the comfort of my own home. And I was very excited to start working, so I got a bunch of tasks and I assisted in admin, I assisted with social media, and I did a bunch of, regular work that obviously took a lot of time for the business owners I worked for. And that's why they wanted to free up more time to have me do this kind of stuff instead. So it was everything from scheduling meetings to setting up new meeting boards to do structure some emails and stuff like that too. And I was pretty eager to work because it was my first work opportunity and I started work quite fast. But the more efficient I got, the more tasks I got on my table, or actually on my to-do list on this workspace that we were working on, and the more problems I started to solve. I started to work harder, and since I was motivated, so I worked harder and harder and harder. But the thing was that I started to provide more value to the employer without getting paid more. And after some time I started to feel like, hey, I'm just working my butt off now for this boss and for this project, and I'm not getting paid more, and I'm not getting to go home, or actually I was home, so I didn't get to leave the work behind earlier either. And that was very demotivating. And obviously that was the only way I knew that. I always thought for all my life up until that point that you get paid for the time you spend working. And it was so demotivating. So what I started to question was this idea that, hey, shouldn't I get more paid if I provide better work? And when I told my employer that I don't feel motivated working anymore because it's like a never-ending story. Like I get more stuff if I'm working faster, and if I work harder, I get just more stuff on my table. So couldn't we just agree on a set of tasks that they want to be done so that I can be motivating doing them? And I know that if I do them I'm efficient and I work fast and they get great stuff done, then I can be done for the day. Like, can't we just decide on a set of tasks? And they understood what I meant. And I'm very happy that I were that transparent back then, because if I wouldn't have been that transparent, I probably would have been stuck still doing that kind of stuff. But I told them that I would be motivated if I know what the tasks are, what the expectations are on me. These are the things that needs to be done every day or weekly or monthly. And then I just could do them. And I started to do that. Obviously, this is one of the best decisions I ever done in my freelancing career, because that was when I stopped trading time for money. And I realized that when I get paid for the value I provide instead of the time I spend working, that's when work feels more meaningful. Because when I do the things they want, they get the value they asked for, and I get paid for that value. It changed everything when I started to charge for the value I could provide instead of the time I put in. And it makes sense. I mean, if you think about it, if you don't get rewarded in correlation to the work and effort and stuff that you put in, I mean, you're not going to be motivated to work. And I think that's the same when it comes, you always need to see that the value and effort I put in, is it in correlation with the reward I get? And it's quite funny, because if you think about the traditional work setup, when you get employed to a boss and you get a traditional job, you get paid because of the skills you have and the value you can provide your employer, right? You get paid to get stuff done. Like that's the key. But you don't get paid because of the stuff you do, the value you provide, or the problems you solve. Not directly. You get paid for the time you spend on doing all of that. And that's the way. I think this is one of the problems we have in society, that it's set up, or many work arrangements is set up the way that we get paid for the time we spend on working, the time we spend on problems, rather than the solutions and value we provide. We need to get paid directly in proportion to the value we provide. When we get a correlation between these two, that's when we are motivated to work. And if we do the tasks that we are passionate about, skilled at, and that they actually love us to do, then work doesn't feel like work. We are in control of our schedule. And it's very important to understand that the quality of your work is never tied to time. If you think about it, like, if you write a perfect blog post, you can make it perfect in an hour. If you're lazy, you can make it perfect in 3 hours. But the time is not the thing that matters. What matters is the content and the value and the things that you put in. So let's take an example, for instance. Let's say that you're employed the traditional way. you get paid for the time you spend on working and not the number of blog posts you write. So if the task is to write blog posts and you're employed as a copywriter, you might spend the entire day writing 3 blog posts because you are not motivated. Let's say that you feel a bit lazy, you are demotivated because you know it really doesn't matter how many blog posts you write, you get paid for the 8 hours you spend at work. If you do, you end up writing 3 blog posts. But then, however, if you would get rewarded in correlation to the value you provide, in other words, the number of blog posts, it basically means that you would be motivated because you know, when you are done, you have them 100% done, you can leave work behind. And then you can go home, or then you can close the laptop and go out with a walk with your dog. So if you get paid based on the value you provide and the number of blog posts you write, then you are more motivated to work. And for the client, it doesn't matter. Like, they don't care. Actually, if you think about it, why wouldn't they care about how many hours you sit and write? Your job as a freelancer is not to give them a set of hours. Your job as a freelancer is to give them the solution they're looking for, or assist them to get the solution they're looking for. That's the key. That's how service providing works, and that's how we work as dream jobbers, and why we get paid for value, not time. That's very, very important. And when you do, work doesn't feel like work, and it's very, very fun. And like, you have complete control over your schedule. You can do whatever you want of your time, and you can spend less time working. You can be efficient when you work, so you have more time to do all these other things that you want to do in your life. That's what it's all about, and I think that's the way we should work in society. We should not be forced to sit in an office or sit by the computer in a remote job. We should not be forced to sit for a set of hours. We should agree on a set of tasks to be done. And when we do them, we're done, we're in control, and that's how it should be. That's how I work every day in my life. Like, that's exactly how I've set up all of my work. And I believe that that's definitely how it should be. I could never go back to anything tied to time anymore. That's just how it is. So if you found this video valuable, if you thought this was a great piece of content and great ideas to share, then please give this channel a like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with a friend. Drop a comment below if you want more content like this, just to let me know what ideas you have, or if you have any specific problems or ideas that you want me to cover here on the channel. Let me know so we can do that. And then, of course, I'm looking forward to see you in the next one.